Forget everything the Venn diagrams taught you about SQL joins. Those two overlapping circles are the reason joins never clicked for you. A join does not overlap sets. A join matches rows. It takes a row from one table, finds the matching rows in another, and stitches them into new rows. And when a row has no match, an outer join keeps it anyway and fills the gaps with null. Circles cannot show that. So in this video we throw out the Venn diagram and watch actual rows, from a real users table and a real orders table, match up, one join at a time. Inner join, left join, right join, full outer join, self join, and the one null trap that silently breaks more queries than anything else in SQL. Here is why the Venn diagram fails you. A Venn diagram shows set overlap, which elements are in both circles. But a join does not return a set of elements. It returns rows. And three things happen with rows that a Venn diagram simply cannot draw. First, row multiplication. If Alice has two orders, an inner join gives you two Alice rows, one per order. One element on the left becomes many rows in the result. A single circle cannot show that fan out. Second, nulls. In a left join, a customer with no orders still appears, but the order columns come back null. The Venn crescent just says left only, it never tells you the right-hand columns are empty. Third, duplicates. The same customer, repeated. So stop picturing circles. Picture two little tables, and a machine that walks the left table row by row, looks for matches on the right, and builds new rows. That mental model is correct. The circles are not. Start with the inner join, the most common join, and the one the Venn diagram gets least wrong. Here are our two tables. Users, Alice, Bob, and Carol. Orders, 4 orders, each with a user ID and an amount. The inner join keeps only rows that have a match on both sides. We join on users.id equals orders.userid. Alice, ID 1, matches order 101 and order 102, so Alice produces 2 rows. Bob, ID 2, matches order 103, 1 row. Carol has no orders at all, so Carol disappears completely from an inner join. And order 104 points at user ID 9, who does not exist, so that order disappears too. 3 rows out. Notice Alice showed up twice, that is the row multiplication the Venn diagram hides. An inner join only returns rows where both sides have a partner. No match, no row. Now the left join, the one everybody struggles with, and the reason you are here. A left join keeps every single row from the left table, no matter what. Then it attaches the matching rows from the right. And here is the part that matters, when a left row has no match on the right, the row still appears, and the right-hand columns come back null. Same 2 tables. Alice still matches her 2 orders, 2 rows. Bob matches his 1 order. But this time Carol does not vanish. Carol has no orders, so she comes back with her order ID null and her amount null. That is the whole point of a left join, it guarantees you keep every customer, even the ones with nothing on the other side. Order 104, the orphan order with user ID 9, is still gone, because it lives on the right table and left join does not protect right side rows. Left join means, everything on the left, matches where they exist, null where they do not. Right join and full outer join are just the mirror and the union of what you have already learned. A right join is a left join flipped, it keeps every row from the right table. So now order 104, the orphan pointing at the missing user 9, finally appears, with the username null. But Carol, who lives on the left with no order, drops out. In practice almost nobody writes a right join, you just put the table you care about on the left and use left join. A full outer join keeps everything from both sides at once. Every matched pair, plus Carol with null orders, plus the orphan order with a null user. Nothing is ever dropped. Unmatched rows on either side get padded with null. That is the only join where both a left-only row and a right-only row can appear in the same result. A self-join sounds exotic, but it is just a table joined to itself, using two aliases so you can tell the two copies apart. The classic case is employees and their managers. Here is one employees table. Each row has an ID, a name, and a manager ID, and that manager ID points at another row in the same table. Ada is the boss, her manager ID is null. Bell and Cy both report to Ada. Dot reports to Bell. To show each person next to their manager's name, we join employees to employees. We call one copy E, for employee, and the other copy M, for manager, and we join E.manager ID to M.ID. Bell's manager ID 1 finds Ada. Dot's manager ID 2 finds Bell. And notice we use a left join, so Ada, who has no manager, still appears, with her manager null. Use an inner join here and you would silently lose the CEO. Two aliases, one table. That is all a self-join is. Now the null trap, the single most common bug in real SQL, and the number one reason a left join quietly betrays you. Watch this. You write a perfect left join to keep every user, including Carol who has no orders. Then you add a filter, where orders.amount is greater than 0, thinking it is harmless. It is not. Carol's amount is null. And null greater than 0 is not true, it is unknown. So the where clause throws Carol's row away. Your left join just silently collapsed into an inner join, and you did not change a single word of the join itself. This is the trap. Any condition in the where clause on a right table column, except an explicit is null check, deletes the null padded rows and demotes your left join to an inner join. The fix is simple once you know it. If the condition is meant to filter the match, move it up into the on clause, next to the join. The left join stays a left join. And if you actually want the unmatched rows, the customers with no orders, you check the right side column is null in the where. Which is exactly the next thing we are going to use. 3 join patterns show up in almost every SQL interview and every real code base. First, the anti-join, find rows in one table with no match in the other. Users with no orders. You left join orders to users, then in the where you keep only the rows where the order ID is null. Those are precisely the customers the left join padded with null. Carol falls out the bottom. This is the correct, fast way to ask what is missing. Second, the fan out. Because a join multiplies rows, if you sum or count naively across a one-to-many join, you double count. When you count orders per user, use count of the order ID, not count star, that way a user with no orders correctly counts as 0 instead of 1. Third, dedup. When you only want the distinct users who have ordered, wrap it in select distinct, or use a group by, to collapse the fan out back down. Anti-join, fan out, dedup, know those 3 and you can handle most join questions thrown at you. So throw the Venn diagram away for good. A join matches rows and builds new ones. Inner join keeps only rows matched on both sides. Left join keeps every left row and fills the missing right side with null. Right join is the mirror, full outer keeps everything on both sides. A self-join is one table joined to itself with 2 aliases, for things like employees and managers. And the null trap, a where filter on the right table silently turns your left join into an inner join, put that condition in the on clause, or check is null on purpose for an anti-join. I wrote a full visual guide to SQL joins at the link below, plus a complete guide that goes deeper. If you want to go further, there is an optional SQL and database design pack in the description. Subscribe for more of these, and I will see you in the next one.